what if I told you that you could actually take a reference photo that you see online, put it in a software, and in one click, you can actually apply that color to your photographs without any filters. So I'm sharing something a lot of beginner photographers would benefit from. So hi everyone, this is Jiggie, a portrait and wedding photographer from the Philippines, and welcome to the channel. Alright, so a lot of beginner photographers, especially portrait photographers, there is something that absolutely fascinates them. And what is it? Color grading. You see online, there's so many portrait photographers who have their own specific styles, absolutely beautiful colors for the vision that they want to create. Every photographer, I have to say, must have a specific vision in mind, and colors are basically the icing on the cake or the last step before their entire vision is realized. I personally have my own specific set of colors that I like playing around with, which are very neutral, very classic in nature, but I do believe that a lot of photographers there are in love with teal and orange, the brownish tone, the light and airy, and it is something that they've always believed that they want to be able to create and post, but more often than not fail miserably. Now, again, I want to put it out there that coloring, once again, I'm going to stress it, it's the very end of the entire creative process. You always have to have good light, good posing, good composition before you even think about coloring. Now, I know it is very difficult because there's so many things that you have to consider whenever you're coloring, especially in post-production. But what if I told you that you could actually take a reference photo that you see online, put it in a software, and in one click, you can actually apply that color to your photographs without any filters, meaning you don't have to purchase filters, you don't have to purchase anything. You can just take anything online and copy the colors. Or I don't want to say copy, but you can emulate the colors. Now, before we get into the software that I'm talking about, let me put it out here already as a disclaimer. This particular software is based on a subscription model, and its subscription model is a bit different. You actually pay for every image that you export. You don't pay for the images that you're editing. However, if you want to export them with all the edits, you will actually have to pay a very small price. Now, a lot of people would react to this, especially when I featured this particular software before, and said that they hate subscription models. Well, you know what? To each his own. I personally pay a subscription for Photoshop. I personally pay for Capture One, and I really don't mind paying for a software like this because it does fill a gap in which I actually need, which is AI portrait retouching. Now, if you want to know more about what I'm talking about, I'll put a link in the description below. But again, the software that I'm talking about is called Evoto, and I am no means a brand ambassador of this particular product. I just want to share things that actually make life easier for photographers. So let's get into it. All right. So these are the images that I've taken that I've actually graded to how I want them to be. Now, again, that is a personal preference, but then of course, some people would go online and say, oh, and see this beautiful image and say, wow, that's actually beautiful, and I want to emulate those colors. Then they try to emulate those colors in Lightroom, Photoshop, or Capture One and fail miserably because of the amount of work that's actually put in coloring those images. Now, I took the liberty of doing the same thing. I actually got some images that I was like, oh, wow, these are actually very nice. They're beautiful. And I just did a screenshot of them and I put them under my samples folder. So now let's open up the software. It's called Evoto. So what I'm going to do now is make a new folder called Evoto Demo AI Coloring. All right. So with that, all I have to do is import the images that I showed you earlier, my personal images. Now, Evoto actually works with TIFF and JPEG files, so all my images are here. So you can see everything's here. Some personal work and some commercial work. Then I just go here to AI color adjustments and upload references. You can see they actually have all the reference images here already, but let's do it the same way too, like maybe demo, go to Evoto demo, samples, highlight all, and everything will be here. So These are all the images that I saw online. So let's say, for example, oh, there, see, it did it already. Let's say, for example, this particular image, I want this color toning. So if I do that, it will automatically get this one as a reference color and apply it to the image there. See, this is the original image. This is the AI colored image. Maybe I want it into a more amber tone or a warmer tone. So let's get a warmer image, and there you go. And that's how easy it is. But let me reiterate this once again. I am not advocating copying colors, but rather emulating the colors. It will give you a good starting point, but then adjust it and tweak it to make it your own. So with that, Evoto also gives you the option to adjust your color temperature, the tint, the exposure, the contrast, highlights and shadows, clarity, and everything else. So let's say, for example, again, I'll give you another example. Look at this one. This one I shot in a recent trip, and I think it would look fantastic with these colors. And with just one click of a button, automatically Evoto will do it. And this one, personally, I do actually like, but I am not really a fan of false colors, so I would still keep it like this because I want my memories, especially for trips, to be exactly the way I saw it. But once again, to each his own. Now, let's say, for example, let's talk about, let's look at a portrait I shot of Coco during this trip here. Now, with this one might even work also. So let's take a look on how it actually looks like. Oh, very, very interesting. A lot of people will be in love with this image, and I understand why, but again, it's your personal taste. And then this one, or maybe we'd want teal and orange. So there we go, teal and orange. Again, sky's the limit of what you want to do. Look at this image that Coco took of me. I can actually apply this one. It looks very similar. And there we go. Or maybe I could go with this color toning. Right? So there we go. So let's say, for example, you want your wedding photographs. I have a wedding photograph here. Maybe I could have it with this color toning. So it's not just about the colors, but you notice it also adjusts your exposure to make it very similar to your reference photo. And if you do this one and do this particular one, instant. And that is how easy it is now to emulate colors that you would see online. But once again, I'm actually stating it, emulate the colors, do not copy them. Use this as a base to create your own personal colors. So I hope you enjoyed this very simple video, and if you did, please do consider subscribing to the channel, and while you're at it, click that notification bell. Now, if you're interested in learning more about photography or off-camera flash work, then do check out the rest of the videos in the channel. And if you want to see some of the images that I've created, you could always find me in my social media sites on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, all at Jiggie Alejandrino. I do hope you enjoyed this video once again, and till the next video.